Alright, what's up? I know this is pretty long overdue, and I was supposed to do this video with Kenny very long ago, like maybe 2 or 3 months ago when the game first released. But here we are. I completely forgot, and here we are. So I'm gonna do it now rather than never. So in this video, I'm gonna be covering every single position in Rematch. There will be a few deviations in terms of meta. I will also chime in every now and then whenever Kenny is talking. Yet again, I want to say a huge thank you to Kenny. I will link his YouTube channel down below. I will also put it up on screen right now. He's a great coach, and he's also an organizer in the Rematch Asia server. So, big thanks to him again. And if you're watching this, Kenny, I'm sorry for the video delay. I was busy. But regardless, let's get straight into the video. So we'll be talking about forward positions first, such as winger and striker, and then we'll get into the other ones.
Hello, my name is Kenny. I'm a coach for Snows FC in North America, and I'm collaborating with Smile right now.
I know this is irrelevant, but I can't believe he called me Smile.
It's a pleasure to be working with you. Positioning provides your team structure, not just to build attacks, but to stay compact in defense. Every role on the pitch has a purpose, and how you position yourself depends on your team's philosophy and playstyle. Let's break it down by zones and responsibilities. Strikers are positioned high up the pitch, usually inside or around the opponent's box. Their primary mission? Score goals. Whether it's a tight finish inside the box or a powerful shot from range, they are your finisher. Mechanic-wise, you want to know the skills on blade shots, fake blade shots, and in this era, understanding on how priorities work. Shooting and scoring is important, but off-the-ball movement is key when receiving the ball inside the enemy's box, hence becoming a threat.
So, just to expand on what Kenny said, since this is the new patch, he talked about blade shots, fake blade shots, and priority. So all these three things that he did prioritize or highlight are kind of cucked in the new patch, so I'm going to be explaining what to do instead. So what I mean by cucked is scoring options that blade shots provided are now no longer as effective because it is way more slower and it's way harder to set up, in my opinion too, as a person who used to only use blade shots to score. And fake blade shots are also basically gone because it does this animation most of the time now because they've nerfed extra effort to the ground. So those two things aren't something you should be prioritizing as a striker anymore. You should rather be prioritizing how to take space because it's more like real life football. You should be trying to run into space and look for spaces which is open and then trust your passer to pass to you or, make some sort of play without relying on maybe one or two mechanics, right? But your primary way of scoring should be off headers or shots nowadays. So by headers, I mean, in the last patch, headers weren't as strong because you'd obviously just get out prioritied. And now in this patch, priorities are changed completely. So no longer you can no longer like haram ball or missile meta, and it's way easier for a striker to score with headers now because headers don't get completely nullified anymore. So use your header more in the box, practice your headers, and with the new update to keyboard and mouse passing, it's way easier to score headers. Try to prioritize that as much as you can, and you'll be able to score way easier. So as Kenny said, the box is your zone, the striker's zone, to create a threat. So make sure you use your options, utilize your options, use the header, use a normal shot, use some blade shots every now and then, and make sure you're using extra effort to boost your shot when you're entering box like this, because it definitely does help you score a lot.
Wingers. Wingers are positioned wide near the sidelines. They stretch the opponent's defense, create overloads on the flanks, and deliver crosses or cut-ins to support the striker. Lots of players have the misconception that wingers should be crossing and get wider. Yes, it's their job, but a good winger runs inside every once in a while to become a potential threat. Sometimes they would go back to defend to fortify.
The line between wingers and strikers is very, very blurred in Rematch right now because compared to real life football, wingers in Rematch don't have as much space because in real life football, you have a lot of options. You can pass back, you can dribble, you can cross. But in Rematch, you don't have that space to take on that 1v1 as much as you'd want to do as a winger, so you'd be better off as a midfielder. A winger playstyle is something that I personally play, but I don't call myself a winger because, well, I go back all the time, and there's a lot of nuances in the way wingers play in Rematch compared to other games. So, if you want to be a winger, and if you want to be an attacking forward, it'd probably be classified as a central attacking midfielder or some sort of attacking midfielder, because wingers are not only dedicated to attack like strikers are. So your main job as a winger is to know how to dribble, take on your 1v1s, and make a good pass. So this is something I learned recently as well. Making the pass after the dribble is more important than dribbling the person itself, because if you're going to take the 1v1, then you have to do something with it. You cannot be wasting your team's time and cannot be wasting opportunities.
Central midfielders. These are your connectors, the bridge between defense and attack. Positioned in the middle third, they help with ball progression, press resistance, and defensive transitions. A good midfielder reads the flow and adapts to it. The key attributes for this position is vision and passing. If the central midfielder has both of these skill sets at a higher rate, then chances are he can make threats on the spaces. Sometimes, this position can operate many types of passing, like tiki-taka and long balls. The more understanding of spaces, the more threats can be made.
So as Kenny said in that section, the understanding of spaces as a midfielder is very, very important. Knowing where to make the run, knowing where to pass, knowing when to transition to defense and attack. It is a very thinking heavy position, and that's why it's not the best position for everyone to play. So if you think you have an affinity for these sort of traits, then you should definitely go become a midfielder. But if it's not your strength, if it's not in your ballpark, then you should not force yourself to do that. The playstyles he was talking about, such as tiki-taka, long ball, these are all playstyles that, you know, a lot of Rematch players don't even know about. So, and all they do is, I see ball, I pass, which is not how you're supposed to be playing at a higher level. So to make these playstyles or get better at these playstyles, you just have to play with a team that's willing to learn, willing to change, willing to adapt. And in ranked games, at least right now in Rematch, it is not the best place to learn or try new things. So I heavily suggest making a team and going into scrims and learning as you play. Think as you play. That's how you become better as a midfielder.
Defenders. Positioned in the back line, their job is clear: stop attacks, block passing lanes, and clear dangerous balls. They are the first line of resistance once your team loses possession. Defenders are the last wall for their fortress. When you get into higher ranks, crosses from the sideline and deep are dangerous. So, as a defender, you need to identify the situation, anticipate where the striker wants, when, and where to shoot the ball.
So as Kenny said, defenders can make or break a team in my personal opinion, because blocking passing lanes and reading the game is very, very important. And as a lot of high-level coaches say, defense is the best offense. And I'm sure some of you have already heard that, but you know what I mean. Blocking all these opportunities allows your team to make more opportunities for themselves.
Goalkeeper, the last line of defense. Think of them as the security guard of the goal. Their job isn't just to save shots, but to command the box, organize the backline, and safely distribute the ball out of danger. Treat the ball like a bomb. The keeper's job is to neutralize it. Anticipation is also the key to great goalkeeping. In the big leagues, you'll come across with some crosses and great passes inside the box. One thing you should always ask is, who's the shooter? The more you can give yourself a hint as to who might shoot, the more likely you'll be able to decide and stop the shots.
And there you go. That's the positional masterclass that Kenny and I can provide for you guys. And again, a huge thank you to Kenny for spending so much time doing this, and I'm so sorry for the delay on the video, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can always leave them down in the comments below. You can also DM me on Discord. My Discord will be in the description down below. So anyways, this video covered all the basics of each position, but not in depth. So if you guys want to see a more in-depth guide for each position, please do let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.